craving cinnamon rolls? No? We'll see about that. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. It's Shitty and Celestine, and today I'm going to be sharing a pillow perfect cinnamon roll fit for the inside of your cheeks, along with a ton of tips, tricks, and solutions for common mistakes that could potentially ruin your dough and yield cinnamon bricks, which we don't want. And stick around till the very end to see my secret hack to maintaining that pillowy softness days after it has come out of the fridge. I mean, oh my god, lordy, lordy, lord. For us to begin making the cinnamon rolls, we're going to bloom our yeast for the dough. So here I have 1 cup of warmed water. I put this in the microwave for 35 seconds and I'm going to be using it immediately. Here I have 2 teaspoons of instant yeast. And here I have 1/4 cup of sugar. This is just white granulated sugar. The sugar helps the yeast become active and it gives it some fuel to get it going. And I'm gonna let this rest for 10 minutes. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add, that sugar. I'm going to add the yeast, and I like to sprinkle it on top and watch it form a layer. And the reason why I like to do that is because sometimes it clumps up to itself and it doesn't allow water to get in. It's kind of like cocoa powder. Now you can mix this up, which I will be doing, and I'm going to let this rest for 10 minutes and you're going to see it foam up. And that's how you know your yeast is good, because yeast can go bad. Now let's begin with the rest of our ingredients. You can do this completely by hand, but I'll be using the stand mixer just because I'm filming. I'm adding the yeast and water mixture along with 1/3 cup of plain yogurt, 1/4 cup of white sugar, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, 1/3 cup of vegetable oil, and 3 tablespoons of melted butter. 3 large eggs, and I would like to note that I did not get to film this, but 2 teaspoons of salt and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And of course, 5 cups of all-purpose flour. On the mixer, you're going to be mixing for 2 minutes. When kneading by hand, only knead for 4 minutes. Now I know that does not sound like a lot because it's not, but we're not making sandwich bread, we are making a dessert bread. So it will almost feel like it needs to be kneaded a little bit more. In fact, some of the flour might look like it's not incorporated. However, that's what's going to give us that very distinguished fluffiness. I'm going to be putting this in a warmed oven that I warmed for 5 minutes before turning it off. I'm also going to be putting a layer of oil on it to make sure that there's no skin that is formed while the dough is proofing. Making sure to cover the dough with a towel or plastic wrap. This is an example of a dough that I kneaded for 6 minutes. Now, although it is soft and elastic, it is still over kneaded for our cinnamon rolls. The solution, do not throw that dough away, let it proof longer. Not allowing the over-kneaded dough to proof or rise efficiently will lead to a dense cinnamon roll with a rock-hard crust and a dry interior, as you see here. While the dough is proofing, I'm going to be making our icing. I have here 3 cups of sifted powdered sugar. To that, I'm going to be adding 1 cup of heavy cream, 1 8-ounce room temperature cream cheese, 3/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Mix till combined. I used a whisk here. You can use a stand or electric mixer. Next, we're going to be making our cinnamon sugar. So to 1 cup of light brown sugar, I will be adding 3 tablespoons of cinnamon. You can substitute the light brown sugar for white sugar, and you can also make substitutes like pumpkin spice or adding a little bit of nutmeg. I've tried them all and they're really, really good. We need half a stick or 8 tablespoons of butter at room temperature. So keep this out so that it is room temperature and soft. As you can see, mine is actually, it's getting there. It's pretty soft so that it's ready by the time we need it. This is my favorite part to bread making, and that is pulling a perfectly proofed dough out of a warmed oven. My dough has been proofing for about 2 hours. And as you can see, it is very elastic and it's very relaxed. It's not fighting back when I pull on it. I'm going to be punching out the major air bubbles created in the fermentation or proofing process. However, I am not going to be overworking the dough as I do want it to stay very elastic. Now, if you do overwork the dough, we will be proofing the cinnamon rolls at the end just before baking. Now, to make my life a lot easier, I will be encouraging my dough into a rectangle before rolling it out with my rolling pin. Once that dough is rolled out to a 1/3 of an inch thickness, we will take that softened butter and brush it across the entire surface of the dough. After which, that cinnamon sugar is going straight onto that butter, very, very generously, all the way up into all the nooks and crannies and corners to make sure that each cinnamon roll is just as cinnamony as the middle ones. In the beginning, I'll be using my thumbs to encourage the dough to twist before using my hands to evenly but firmly twist the dough up. Now, as I completely roll the spiral up, I want to make sure that that dough does not unroll by pressing that final seam into itself as I'm doing here, then rolling the entire spiral onto the seam and giving it a gentle but firm press. Taking a string, any kind of string, even floss, and cutting about 12 inches, I will first be using it to score my cinnamon rolls evenly into 1-inch lengths. Pressing my 2 thumbs onto the table to slide the string underneath the dough will help me not cut the dough incorrectly. Then I will bring up the string and cross them to get a straight cut. Do not lean your hands left or right, even slightly, to ensure that when they bake, they do not unravel, which you will see what I mean in the end. Using a Pam olive oil spray, you can use any kind of spray, even butter if you wanted to, just to ensure that the cinnamon rolls do not stick to the Pyrex dish. I will be placing all but one into the Pyrex. That one is for me, and this one is for serving. I will be resting these for 45 minutes. They have doubled in size. I'm going to place them in the oven for 20 to 30 minutes. These ones are going to be an upward of 25 to 30 minutes just because they are really close together and thicker. If they are separated and thinner, I would say 20 minutes. And if they are really small and separated, I would say 15 minutes. Whew, we are almost there. Our cinnamon babies are just about done. Once they're golden brown, I'm going to take them out of the oven. And right as I take them out, I will be spraying them 6 to 7 times with water. Yes, you heard me right. That is my big secret, water. That is because as it's cooling, it continues to lose moisture, making it tougher by the time we come to eat it. The light mist of water will ensure that by the time we eat it, it is just as plush and as pillowy and supple as it comes straight out of the oven. Now, you spray it any more than that and the dough will become gummy, so there is a fine balance there. This also goes the same for reheating day-old cinnamon rolls. Just spray it more generously before reheating it, and you will have what feels like piping hot, fresh out of the oven cinnamon rolls. As you can see, the cinnamon roll is easy to pull apart. It is also burning my hands, but I'm not complaining. I enjoyed every second of it. My sweet mother-in-law offered to put sweetened condensed milk on the cinnamon roll, and I'm not gonna lie, oh my god, it was amazing. I shouldn't have, but I ate 3. It was so good. You should give it a try. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite combination for cinnamon rolls are. I know I like salted caramel and pecans, and I love a very almost salty cream cheese frosting. And one of my new favorites now is the sweetened condensed milk. These little fingers are my daughter Kenzie's little hands. She's my little helper in the kitchen, as is my son Faisal. I would like to point out that there are so many cinnamon roll shots in this video, and that's because I had to keep refilming and remaking the cinnamon rolls because we were all sick and it was going around the house and I had so many technical issues. I swear I was having some kind of paranormal activity in this house. However, I took it to my advantage and it gave me footage of bad cinnamon rolls and what not to do, and it also gave me the ability to see how to fix those cinnamon rolls and come up with solutions. So this is actually what you see here is one of those batches I had to put in the refrigerator because I came down with a fever, and it gave me the hardest time proofing it before baking. It would not puff up. So I put it in a warmed oven and doubled the proofing time, and it gave me one of my fluffiest batches. This is just encouragement that you can always improve on your dough. I had a blast creating and filming this recipe, even though it took me admittedly 3 times filming through bronchitis and tonsillitis, but I was determined to get you this recipe because I knew it was worth sharing. If you would like to see more recipes like this that are fit for my kitchen table and from my home to yours, consider subscribing and pressing that bell notification button. And if you'd like to make some noise and shake it up a little bit, share this video. I'll meet you in the comments. See you next week. What is happening right now? Today I'm going to be showing a potentially cinnamon bricks. I hate it. And to see my secret tack, my secret, I don't like that. Why are you so nervous? There's no one here. My heart is pounding. Okay.